All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another NBA regular season video. This one's a special one, though. It is the Christmas special video. We're going to talk about the Christmas Day games. We're going to talk about Knicks versus the Cavs, OKC versus Spurs, Golden State versus the Mavs, Lakers versus the Rockets, and the Nuggets versus the Wolves. All in different capacities. Spoiler alert: some of these games were absolute bores. They were just so turn off. Wait till the next game comes on, but we will still talk about them a little bit. So we're gonna jump right into it here. I also want to say right here, this is my 250th video, which is crazy that there have been 250 videos on this channel. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that. It's a really cool number. We'll get to 300 next year for sure, for sure. But I just want to put that right here at the top. So thank you all so much for watching. If you like what I say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So first game on tab, the early game on the East Coast. We have the Cleveland Cavaliers going to New York to play the Knicks in Madison Square Garden Christmas afternoon. And this was a really tight game. The Cleveland Cavaliers lost this game 124 to New York Knicks 126. Um, I have some notes here. I'm gonna speak very generally about these games because a lot of them were very close and they're very entertaining. If I go here and I look through some of these here, majority of these were very close. Yeah, a lot of these are really close. The real last one was super duper close. Was an overtime game, but we'll talk about that later. I'm gonna do a general overview of these games, um, because I assume this is probably the most basketball that anybody's gonna watch, whether you watch football and then some basketball, or basketball then some football on Christmas Day. I assume you've watched some of these games, so it's not just like an odd game in the middle of March. People have watched these games. So just a general overview. Some stuff I've been marinating on. I've been thinking about over the last couple weeks leading up to these games. Um, and yeah, so the general overview of this game. Um, the Cavaliers had some really good moments, but they were like few and far between. And right now they're dealing with a lot of injuries, um, and they just don't have enough guys that do different things. And when I say enough guys that do different things, I'm specifically talking about Jared Allen, who has been a main staple starter since this era of Cleveland basketball has started, essentially. And I'm talking about Darius Garland as well. And a little bit of DeAndre Hunter. He hasn't been having the greatest year. I hope he can bounce back. Evan Mobley was cleared to play this game. He did come off the bench, though. And Lonzo Ball was another one that this is such a huge offseason swing for the Cavs. And I, I don't like I won't get into it now. My other note I have here about the game as a whole is that there was way too much on Donovan Mitchell. I even said in my preview that Donovan Mitchell usually plays well um, in New York. He's a New York native. Um, had a couple really spectacular moments. Didn't shoot the ball particularly well this game, but he did show out like he normally does in these New York Knicks, Cleveland Cavaliers, or when it was a Utah Jazz games. And then the Knicks just kept wearing them down right until the end. There were some casualties of the Knicks trying to wear the Cleveland Cavaliers down. Josh Hart went out with an injury. I didn't see any report on what it was. Let me see. Does it say what he's out with? Let me see. Bio. Let's see. Doesn't even say what he's out with. But he did get injured this game. Josh Hart did. He went down. I believe that was like at the end of the third, in the fourth, somewhere along those lines. Did not return. That was a casualty of the Knicks trying to wear the Cleveland Cavaliers down. And then we get to the conversation I really want to have. For me, Christmas Day games are important because it sets a barometer for both teams, and both teams have the most eyes they've probably ever had on them. Throughout this early on in the season. Um, you've been picked to play on Christmas, so the NBA thinks you're a good team. Fans are coming out to see you. People might travel even more to see you play. Maybe a Cleveland Cavaliers should be like, I'll go to New York and watch the Cleveland Cavaliers play the Knicks, or vice versa. Knicks fans will say, I'll go to Cleveland to watch the Cavs play if I have nothing else better to do. Um, these games are barometers for me. And leading up to this game, there was a lot of talk. Well, there was a huge discussion of, and a huge thing that came out that the Cleveland Cavaliers owner, Dan Gilbert, was not happy at all with this team. Not happy at all. He's very disappointed. One, because they are a second apron team. They are deadlocked into this roster essentially, and they it's really hard to make moves. And when you're a second apron team, that means you're spending the most money on your roster. And when the owner isn't happy, when he's spending that much money and you guys aren't winning, and you're sitting at 17-15 on the season, um, it's not good. And then after that, and even before that, there was conversations of, is it time to move on from Darius Garland? Is it time to move on from Jared Allen? I don't know. I don't know. What I saw this game, I've never been particularly high on Jared Allen. He's a run, jump, dunk sort of guy. I'm not extremely enthused with anybody of that archetype, to be completely honest. I'm not enthused with those type of players at all. Like just some simple run, jump, dunk, no post moves, nothing else that you bring to the game. Maybe a little bit of defense depending on the matchup. Um, but those guys just don't enthuse me enough. They don't tickle me, so to speak. Um, they just don't. And I think Jared Allen's a really good locker room guy. I think he's a really good vet. I think he's one of the longest tenure players on this team. Um, and I think at this point, let me see here. How old is Jared Allen here? He's only 27. I thought he was a bit older. It might be time to start experimenting with Jared Allen off the bench. It might be that time. Um, and I say that with the caveat that it might be time. The real person that might be out of here is Darius Garland. Um, Darius Garland, I remember when he got drafted in his first year, he had a terrible first year. And people like, this guy doesn't know how to play basketball. He only played like 10 games of college basketball. He's like, he doesn't know how to play. He's a scrub. And he turned himself into an all star. He's turned himself into a really consistent player, or was a really consistent player. And then these injuries started adding up, and he started getting injured. And then he had something last year, and then he had the toe before the playoffs started, and he was out for almost the entirety of the playoffs essentially, their playoff run. And now he's just come back from the toe, and I feel like Darius Garland is such a interesting player because he is an archetype of which you don't see anymore. A short guard that can score but also wants to assist the ball. Um, Sort of Trae Young in the Atlanta Hawks light, you know, in that wheelhouse. And he gets picked on defensively. And I was watching this game towards the end of the game, and one of my biggest complaints here was that there was too much on Donovan Mitchell. And I'll give Darius this. He tried to take a little bit off of Donovan Mitchell in the fourth quarter. And he tried to get to the basket and he tried to put the ball in the basket and he couldn't do it. He did it like 3 or 4 times. And I was watching it, and after the second one, I was like, "Yo, just stop, just stop, please, just stop, just give the ball to Donovan, just stop. You're just giving them free possessions at this point, just giving them free possessions." And I became very annoyed with Darius Garland. And then I thought about, it, I was like, "Is this what Cavs fans are talking about? Is this why they want him to be traded?" And you look at this team, you look at the pieces, and this is no secret. Everybody knows this. If you could redo this roster, you'd probably build around Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell, and you would can D Wade, you would can Jared Allen. Pardon me. You would can Darius Garland, you would try to get off Lonzo Ball because Lonzo Ball has just been a disaster this year. I've talked about him for the past like 2 3 months at this point. He's just been a disaster for this team. He looks so bad. If you think Darius Garland looks bad, if you think Darius Garland looks bad, Lonzo Ball looks terrible. He looks awful. This is the worst season of professional basketball I've ever seen him play, including his rookie year. Absolutely terrible. I feel so bad for Lonzo Ball, but at the same time, it's like you're put in a situation where you thought you were going to be a really good team. Um, what they start off like 26-1 last year, or whatever the crazy thing was that they started last year, and now this year they're 17-15, and they're 6-7 in away games. Oh boy, um, yeah, this my barometer for the Cavs has just gone down even more. I said this in a video like 2 weeks ago, a week ago. I was like, I'm worried. The Cavs are weird. They're so weird, and I can't put my finger on it. And it's weird because you think they're supposed to be a good team, right? You see a team with Donovan Mitchell, like, oh, they're supposed to be pretty good, right? You see a team with Evan Mobley, who just came back from injury, like, oh, they're supposed to be all right. They're supposed to be a little bit better than this, and they haven't been. And I I I I get like the thought like you have to keep the core together. You have to see what they can do 3 4 months from now when everybody's healthy. I'm not. That doesn't move me anymore. I can't wait for you to be healthy. I can't wait for you to be healthy in March and play like two months together and then fizzle out in the playoffs again. I just can't. You need to show me something right now. And I get this was a close game, and I will give them that. This was a close game with a bunch of weird stuff happening at the end. The Knicks just suffocated them defensively, but I you're telling me you're telling me that you guys are going to rely on Jalen Tyson, right? Who Jalen Tyson has turned into a nice little player, 16 points that game. You're going to rely on Dean Wade, who did some really good things defensively for moments. Only 6 points though. You're telling me you're going to rely on Sam Merrill, 11 points. Okay, and then like guys down here like Craig Porter, Tyrese Proctor, Naquan Tomlin. I'm gonna be honest. I like these guys a lot more than some of these other guys they have here. These three names just I can picture moments in my head like, oh, they had some really good moments. These other guys, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Let's run through the stats real quick. Donovan Mitchell, 34 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Sam Merrill, 11 points, 5 rebounds. Darius Garland, 20 points, 10 assists, 4 turnovers. Did not shoot the ball particularly well from. Oh no, he shot it pretty well. Yeah, 3 for 4 from three, 3 for 4 from free throw. DeAndre Hunter, one of the down years of his career, 13 points this game. Thomas Bryant 3, Evan Mobley 14. Evan Mobley also had 9 rebounds, and Jalen Tyson 16 points. And for the Knicks, on the positive side, like I said, this is a barometer game for these teams, and I don't think the Cavs are going to pose any threat to the Knicks. I think right now it's like the Knicks and the Pistons at the top of the East, and like everybody else is like below them. Um, this how do I say this? This was a good old fashioned like okay, we fought tooth and nail, we beat them down. Um, Nobody had a particularly great game except Jalen Brunson per usual. In the starting lineup, Jordan Clarkson off the bench had a really good game, 25 points. It was a Christmas miracle. He finally looked like the old version of Jordan Clarkson. Um, but defensively, digging into their bench, finding some things that they probably wouldn't have been able to find if Tom Thibodeau was still their coach. And um, Tyler Kolek, they did him so dirty in the box score. They put him right at the bottom. Um, Tyler Kolek, um, the most famous white boy in New York. That's what everybody's saying. um, really good stuff for the Knicks. Karl Towns 11. I had turned on the game. I think I missed like 5 minutes of the first half or the first quarter, and I turn on the TV and I turn on the volume, and they're like, Karl-Anthony Towns already in foul trouble. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. 11 points for Carl, 14 rebounds, 8 points for OJ Anunoby, 15 for Josh Hart. Um, Mikal Bridges, 11 points. Jalen Brunson, 34, 4 assists, 2 steals. Um, let's see here. Mitchell Robinson out there just literally to get rebounds, 13 rebounds, no points. Um, Jordan Clarkson, 25 points. Tyler Kolek, 25 points. Tyler Kolek, 16 points, 9 assists. Um, the Knicks look really deep and they look really good. And the funny thing is, they said this on the broadcast. They're like, they have so many bodies. When some of these other players come back, because I think they are missing. Let me see here. They are missing some people. Let me see injuries. Yeah, they're missing Miles McBride. They're missing Landry Shamet. Some of these other guys come back. There might be some minutes shakeups. There might be. I mean, it's good to have a plethora of talent, but there might be some minutes shakeup here. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, really good night for a really good day for New York Knicks fans. Um, again, Knicks won this game 126 to the Cleveland Cavaliers 124. And let's move on to the next game. The next game, we're going in order. Um, San Antonio Spurs walk into the Paycom Center to play the Oklahoma City Thunder and put the beat down once more. The Spurs have beat the Thunder 2 times, 3 times, 3 times, three, two, 3-2, something like that. And this was a classic. I saw something. People on Twitter were going crazy for this. By the way, they were going absolutely crazy for this game because they were like, the Spurs beat them at home at their place. The Spurs beat them at a neutral site in Vegas, and now they walked into Paycom Center and beat them there too, which I thought was particularly funny. But yeah, I said this in the first time I covered the first game the Spurs won against this Thunder team. I had said the Spurs have something. They have a player that matches up with every player on the Thunder. Oh, you got a big guy who shoots threes. We got a big guy who shoots threes. You got a dynamic guard. We got a dynamic guard. You got a backup. You got an okay center. So your actual center can play the four, so it's a mismatch. We got that too. Um, you got let's see. You got young scrappy guards or just scrappy guards in general. We do too. Just the matchups with this team are so with these teams are just so interesting because the Spurs do match up very well, and that's the only thing about this that I'm worried about is that I'm not saying the San Antonio Spurs are going to be the only team and the Portland Trailblazers who beat the Thunder earlier in the season, but that was like a one-time thing. The Spurs have done it consecutive times now. The thing about it is, I'm not sure if any other team matches up this well with the with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it was another great battle. Um, sorry, I'm reading my notes here. Blanked out. But yeah, I'm not trying to say the Spurs are gonna be the only team to do it this year. I still think that the Oklahoma City Thunder are gonna fall short of the was it 73-9 Warriors because it's not easy. And the other thing about this game after the game that people were like ruminating on that they were thinking about was like it was when the Warriors went 73-9, right? Sorry, I had to sneeze there. When the Warriors went 73-9, it never felt like they were in danger of losing. Like it actually felt like whether they were up 20, 10, 5, whatever it was, it never felt like they were going to lose a game. It never felt like they had lost, that a team had beat them. They had lost the game, if that makes sense. Oklahoma City Thunder, they got beat. They get beat. And the Spurs have done it successfully. And we'll see if another team can figure out another way to beat this Oklahoma City Thunder team. But the Oklahoma City Thunder, they got beat. They didn't just lose the game, they got beat. And the main thing is that, like, I remember it sounds like it was so long ago. It was literally like 2 years ago, maybe, when Chet and Wemby, Victor Wembanyama met for the first time. Um, and it was like pick whose side you're on. It's like I'm on Wemby's. Wemby's the better player. He is the better player. Um, and there's no competition right now. He Wemby's the better player. He's better at everything. And as I was watching this game, I think it was like the third quarter, maybe. I was like, Chet is good at basketball because he's tall. Wemby is 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 good at basketball because he's skilled, not just because he's tall. It's because he's skilled, and that's a little bit of the nuanced difference between these two guys. Victor Wembanyama, um, Spurs star, budding star, and then Chet Holmgren, um, Oklahoma City Thunder forward. Um, Same draft classification. Um, but yeah, it was just so like jarring because I think I finally figured it out. Like, Chet's just good at basketball because he's tall, and he plays basketball because he's tall. Wemby plays basketball because he wants to be better at basketball. He's tall, and that helps. Obviously, that's a huge. He's like 7'7" or whatever, whatever the hell he is. But he wants to be better at basketball. He's not just, oh, I'm tall. I'm just gonna be good at basketball. He wants to be. He wants to be better, which is the craziest thing. This is not the best version of him. Um, Head to head here. Let's see. Victor Wembanyama, 19 points, um, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. No, pardon me, 3 assists or 2 assists, 2 assists. And then on the other side, Chet Holmgren, 10 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists. Um, yeah. The other thing about this game was that the MVP or supposed MVP, probably not after, probably not after Wednesday night. We'll get to that later. The reigning MVP, maybe the back-to-back MVP, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He just disappeared, didn't show up, just gone. 22 points, 7 to 19 overall from field goal, 1 of 6 from three, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Just not one of his better performances on one of the bigger stages. Um, I'm not saying I'm surprised. I'm a little surprised, but uh, maybe if I was the Thunder, I'd be worried. People, this Spurs team is showing people how you can stop Shea a little bit. Just putting it out there. Um, this is the first time I believe that Shea Alexander, Lou Zhang Dort, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein have all played together this season as well. So that is just something to keep in mind as well. This is the first time this championship starting five from last year has played together. So just putting that out there. And they still got outclassed. Might be a little rust, might be a little some other stuff going on, but just completely outclassed that night. And the other thing, two things I want to mention here. Um, well, two things that have come out, two storylines. Is that like Thunder fans are just like, haha, we don't care. We won the championship last year. We don't care that we lost on Christmas. Ha ha ha. And they're like, Spurs should hang the beat Thunder on Christmas Day banner. And then like Spurs fans are like, we have like 5 championships. We have like 6 championships. You guys have one. Just this is not the right fan base to do that to, and that's right. And I don't think this is a rivalry until the Thunder fight back. This isn't a rivalry. The the Spurs have just beat the brakes off these guys, and I don't know. And Wemby's been coming off the bench too. I just imagine when Wemby starts again. Let's see. Do they play each other again? Or at least one more time, because I know they've seen each other 3 times at least. Um, let's see here. Yes, they play each other on January 13th in San Antonio, and then back again on February 4th in San Antonio goes to. Um, oh wait, no. So the next one, pardon me, I had it backwards. Um, on the 13th of January, the Spurs come back to Oklahoma to play the Thunder, and then The last meeting on February 14th, the Thunder go to San Antonio. So two more matchups of these teams. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm very interested. I think everybody in the NBA world's interested now. The other storyline I just want to hit real quick here before we go into the numbers and get out of this game here is that the losing Dort piece of this. Losing Dort, for those who don't know, number 5. Do I have him in the picture here? Is that losing Dort? No, that's J Dub. Bottom left of your screen is Knicks Cavs, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Losing Dort, number 5. Guard slash forward ish for the Thunder. Um, sixth season in the NBA. He's being dragged dragged on the internet a little bit right now because people have finally figured out that he's a dirty player. And even in this game, he like unintentionally fell on Victor Wembanyama while trying to do a box out, trying to box him out. And I found it so funny because I was thinking about this morning when I was making the thumbnail for this video. I was making the picture you guys are looking at right now, and I was like, man, just a few years ago in 2020, this guy was guarding James Harden. And it was like, oh my God, look at him. He's so feisty. He's shutting down James Harden. Look at him go. Yes, yes, yes. You know? And now 5 years later, everybody's like, we hate this guy. He's a dirty player. He tries to injure everybody. And I believe he did injure Paul George. What was that? 2 years ago now when he was still on the Clippers. Um, and Paul George hasn't been the same. So I don't know. I'm a big defender of Draymond Green. I've defended Draymond Green in the past on multiple occasions. Um, I know what a dirty player is. Um, I don't think losing Dort's dirty. I just think he's incompetent. And he's been enabled by everybody around him and the NBA. It's the same thing with Shea, just on the defensive end, where Shea is able to do all these moves, get all these foul calls, and it's okay by the NBA as long as you're winning, you know? Come 3, 4, 5 years from now, Shea's not going to get that same whistle. You know, he's not getting the same call. Same thing with losing Dort. If losing Dort keeps it up, he's going to get tossed out of games. He's going to get technicals. He's going to injure people even more. He's going to injure himself maybe, and then you're going to have to face the repercussions that way. So it is what it is. Um, Moving on to the next game here. Halfway through, Mavs in San Francisco to play the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors won this game 126 to the Dallas Mavericks 116. This is Cooper Flagg's first NBA Christmas Day game, top left of your screen. Um, the biggest thing about this game, the biggest thing, we'll get to the things after this game as well, is that Anthony Davis went down early, and then the Mavs never regained momentum. They had a few good runs, but it just wasn't enough. And I had predicted personally that I thought the Warriors were going to be in disarray in this game, and they were not in disarray. They were in ray, if that makes sense. Um, I thought the Mavericks would walk in there with a healthy Anthony Davis, with Cooper Flag, with Klay Thompson returning to Golden State to play his old team, and they were going to beat the brakes off the Warriors, and they did not. It was actually a very tight game at times, but the Warriors came out on top. Um, the Warriors, let me see, what does this note say? Oh, I have a note here that the Warriors still know how to get a win against low IQ teams by batting the ball around on the offensive and defensive rebounds, making the ball snap, going after loose balls, and second chance points. That is how the Warriors won this game, essentially. Um, I thought that this game showed a lot of small, very small positive things. I'm still not. I don't love this Warriors team. I just don't. There's some weird vibes going on, man. And the stuff that happened last week with Draymond Green and Steve Kerr, I just don't like it. And there's a rumor that came out after this game, or a couple days after this game. We'll get to that. Cooper looked decent. Just no help. except for Brandon Williams, who Brandon Williams has showed me a lot of stuff this year as a Dallas Maverick. Brandon Williams, 26 points, 9 of 12 from field goal, 7 of 9 from free throw, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Um, really positive stuff for Brandon Williams. I forgot. I knew his face looked so familiar, and somebody was finally like, "Yeah, he used to play on the Blazers." I was like, "Oh, that's right. That's where I know his face from." So yeah, former Blazer, now a Dallas Maverick, played very well in his Christmas Day game. I believe his first one. So there's that. Um, some other stuff here. Steph Curry had a bad game, but the team showed up. Going through some of the numbers here. Jimmy Butler, 14 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds, one each away from a triple double. Stephen Curry, 23 points. Moses Moody, 12. Trace Jackson Davis, 10. Trace Jackson Davis getting his first real minutes this season. Al Horford, 14. Anthony Melton, 16. Brandon Podziemski, 13. Will Richard, 5. Jonathan Kuminga, DNP. And Buddy Hield, DNP. And that was probably for the best. The team looked pretty decent. Quentin Post got the start on Christmas Day as well. 6 points for him. Um, I I I do actually enjoy this lineup for the Warriors. I enjoy a Steph Curry, Moses Moody, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Quentin Post starting five. I do enjoy this lineup. Do I enjoy it all the time? No. Would I prefer Al Horford starting? A little bit, but he's old. You can't be mad at that. Gary Payne also had some great defensive moments in this game, um, and so did Cooper Flag. They went back and forth a couple times with some like thunderous blocks, both those guys. So for each of their respective teams. So that's that. Some other stuff here. The thing that came out today as I'm recording this on Saturday. It's going to go up on Saturday. Um, Apparently, the Warriors want to trade for Anthony Davis. And I saw that and I shook my head and I said, why would we do that? And then I saw somebody was like, this lineup would be scary. It was like Steph Curry, Moses Moody, or whoever, and then like Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and like Anthony Davis. And I looked at that lineup and I said, oh no. I shook my head and I said, oh no. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I don't like this at all. I don't know why you would trade for Anthony Davis. You literally saw him get injured on Christmas 2 years in a row, last year and this year. And you're like, you know what? This guy played 11 minutes in a primetime game. Let's trade for him. Boy, oh boy. Um, some other stuff for the Dallas Mavericks here, statistics wise. PJ Washington 14, Najee Marshall 14. I didn't feel any of those guys impact. PJ Washington also had 10 boards. Cooper Flag 27 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Ryan Nemhard, despite a bad game, this game has looked really good. Season 4 points. Brandon Williams, like I said, 26. Max Christie 13. Um, did I go through the Warriors numbers? I think I did. Yeah, if I didn't, who cares? Um, let's move on here. Try to get through this a little quickly now. Um, Lakers versus the Rockets. The Rockets in LA to play the Lakers. Um, I thought this game was going to be a really good game. I thought it was going to be one of the best games. It was in the sweet spot at the prime time number. Late enough, but not too late. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I only have one note for this game. I have one note, a singular note. Um, this was a snooze. The Lakers did not show up. No defense, and the Rockets' youth and speed killed the Lakers. I have no idea what happened this game. And I mean that like metaphorically. I know what happened in this game, but I have no idea what happened in this game. It just felt like the Lakers just like they forgot it was like a Christmas Day game, or they forgot like, oh, this Rockets team is actually good, and it's not like the same Rockets team from like 3 or 4 years ago. This is like a championship contending Rockets team, and they just refused to show up, and I was very disappointed. Um, my guy Luca, 26 points, 5 rebounds, seven assists, 6 turnovers. Um, Not great. 3 of 8 from three, 9 of 17 overall from field goal. It, this I try not to make fat jokes about Luca because Luca's my guy. I'm looking at his All Star jersey right now. that I have hanging in my room here. I feel like Luca ate all his Christmas dinner all at once and then came to the game and came out so lethargic and so out of it. Like he looked like he was about to take a snooze in the game. He was just so out of it. LeBron James about to turn 41 in a couple weeks, a week. Awful, looked terrible. Walked off the floor after they lost, just walked straight to the locker room and say Merry Christmas to anybody. On the Rockets side, just left, just cried and pouted about it. 18 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, 3 personal fouls, took 3 threes, made one of them. Yeah, congratulations. You played your 20th Christmas game and lost, LeBron. That was a great look for you, buddy. DeAndre in 10 points, two. Okay, here we go. DeAndre in 10 points, 2 rebounds. That's your starting center, baby. Austin Reeves, 12 points. It came out after this game today or yesterday that Austin Reeves has another injury. He just recovered from his last one, and he has a new one that is due to overplaying. Jared Vanderbilt, 11 points. Um, First appearance of Jared Vanderbilt in what, like, how long has he been a Laker? 3 years? Welcome to the party, Jared Vanderbilt. And then Jake LaRavia, 5. I was wondering where Jake LaRavia was. Like, when I was watching this game, I had it on the background at some point. I was like, where the hell is Jake LaRavia? He was really good the first couple weeks of the season. And then he just showed up. I was like, oh, there he is. And now that I look at it, 5 points. Marcus Smart, 6 points. Yeah. I'm gonna admit it right now. Like I said, this is a barometer for a lot of these teams. A lot of people early in the season said this Lakers team isn't a championship team, and I kind of fought back on that. And I was like, no, they are. You look at the people there. It's the time of year where it's like, okay, it's go time. It's crunch time. We're 3 months in. We need to start really getting in a groove where we're gonna start ticking down. The standings. I'm agree with y'all. This isn't a championship team. These are not championship habits. Um, to be this lethargic and nonchalant and just not caring on a Christmas Day game. It's not like, oh, we're playing like um I don't know. I'm trying to look at the other teams they could have played, and it's not like you're playing the Cavs. Like LeBron in Cleveland played the Cavs, and the Cavs are a bad team, and you lost to them, right? Or you won against them. It's like hooray! You're playing a team that you're gonna have to see in the playoffs, and they're gonna beat the brakes off of you again. And you just showed no fight. You showed nothing. Um, the Rockets looked amazing. The rebounding in this game from Ahmed Thompson, from Alperen Şengün, um, really good. Steven Adams had some sturdy rebounds. Going through some of the other numbers here, 25 points for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant showed up. 8 assists, 4 rebounds. Jabari Smith, 16 points, 7 rebounds. Tari Eason got the start. Christmas Day game, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. Really good defensive game from Tyrese. And Alperen Şengün, 14 points, 12 rebounds, 6 turnovers but 4 assists. Ahmed Thompson, 26 points. He was the deciding factor in this game. That's the whole reason why I wrote that note. Was just like he, Ahmed Thompson does it again with his rebounding and his athleticism. Nobody on the Lakers could stop him, and it was like, whoa, 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 nobody, okay. Off the bench, they didn't really get much. You had Reed Shepard, 13. He's got a couple other guys pitching in 6, 2, 4. Yeah, absolute snooze fest. The Rockets won this game 119 to the Lakers 96. And now we move on to the final game, the nightcap game, the really late game. And I have a confession to make about this game. I have a confession to make. I let you guys down. Um, this Minnesota Timberwolves game in Denver in the Mile High City against the Nuggets. It was late. It was East Coast time, and I had gotten about halfway through the game. Got about the third quarter, and then at the end of the third quarter, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna close my eyes for a little bit." and I closed my eyes, and I woke up, and the game was over. The game was over, guys, and I missed one of the best performances on Christmas Day ever. The one game that I fall asleep for, though, at the end of the game, literally the fourth quarter and overtime, the Denver Nuggets won this game 142 to the Minnesota Timberwolves 138. Um, I fell asleep and I woke up and I see Nikola Jokic with a 56-point game, 16 rebounds, and 15 assists. I fell asleep. I didn't get to see this. I was so pissed at myself. I was so mad. And then I did I'm gonna go back and watch it this week. I just haven't had time this yet. I watched some of the highlights on like Instagram and Twitter, but I need to sit down and watch like the full game highlights, especially the overtime highlights. Because Nikola Jokic looked amazing, and like I alluded to earlier, with the Spurs Thunder game and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander possibly being a back-to-back MVP, Nikola Jokic just snatched that away from him on Christmas Day, and they said, and Nikola Jokic is like, "Nah, I'm still the best player in the world." And I don't think I've ever called Nikola Jokic the best player in the world. I'd be like, he's top three, he's top two. What he does so nonchalantly and so just like effortlessly, and 56 points, um, 56 points, 22 free throws made, 23 taken, only 5 turnovers. So if you subtract the turnovers from the assists, he has 10 assists. That's still crazy. And the 16 rebounds. How many offensive? How many defensive? Offensive two, or also offensive 5 rebounds, defensive 11. Um, Amazing, absolutely amazing, sensational, literally sensational. It was simply lovely, and I can't wait to watch it and go back and see it. Um, oh, the other thing I wanted to say, um, watching this or watching the highlights, like the Sparks Notes version of it. I watched till the third quarter. Okay, I watched most of this game. I'm just mad I missed the fourth in overtime. But watching majority of this game, um, I've been thinking about this for like a year and a half now, and I've thought about it a bunch of times. And seeing this again, this is a barometer. These games are barometers. These games are like statement games. They're statement pieces. You can make a statement on Christmas Day. Um, Nikola Jokic is the best center I've seen in my lifetime. And I can only speak from what I saw. I grew up in a time where the centers weren't particularly good. And now to be in this era where there's a lot of good centers, and Nikola Jokic to stick out almost every time you watch him play basketball is commendable, is amazing. I would dare say, and not just because of this game, because the whole body of work up until this point, every year of his career has gotten better. Champion, MVP, should have like more, should have like 5 or 4 or 5 MVPs at this point. Um, Nikola Jokic is the best center ever, and the most complete center ever. 4 of 6 from three, by the way. 15 of 21 from field goal. 43 minutes, 56 points. He is the best center I've seen, and I think right now he's the best. I think by the end he will be solidified the best center of all time. And he's catching Russell Westbrook in all-time triple doubles. Um, what was the number? I think it was like 200. Russ is at like 210, I believe, right now, which is somewhere around that ballpark. Is he at 210? I would have to look it up, but I think Nikola Jokic can almost 2 times that, 4 times that. Yeah, Nikola Jokic is amazing. Jeez. The rest of the team, Jamal Murray 35 to go along with Nikola Jokic's 56. 10 assists as well for Jamal Murray. Tim Hardaway showed up on Christmas, 19 points. Spencer Jones 12 points. Didn't really run a lot of people other places. Bruce Brown 7 points. Jonas Valanciunas 2. Yeah, the big thing about this game was the end of the game, the overtime, where Anthony Edwards got ejected in crunch time. Um, was not happy about being ejected, made it known to the refs that he was not happy. Before the majority of the game, the whole team showed up. Julius Randle, 32 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Splits aren't great, but he had 32. Jay McDaniels, 21, looking really good this year offensively. Really love to see that. Rudy Gobert, 9. I want y'all to tell me that Rudy Gobert is still the best defensive center in the league, and tell me why Nikola Jokic dropped 56 on his head. Please tell me. Dante DiVincenzo, 9 or 6, not great. Um, Nasri, 13, and then Bones Highland, 11. Bones Highland's been looking kind of all right recently. I don't know. But yeah, there's that. That's the game. Johnny Juzang got some bird. Actually, statistically played 0 minutes, had 0 points, so I guess he played some garbage time. But there's Johnny Juzang for you. Yeah, that's it. That's the video. 46 minutes, baby. I like that. I like that. I think we're gonna end it here. I was gonna go through the standings, but you know what? We'll save that for next time. Um, I believe there are some pre-New Year's days, Eve and day games on Tuesday, so we'll talk about those. Or Monday. I think it's Monday or Tuesday. I forget which one. We'll talk about those. Again, this is my 250th video. Thank you all for enjoying. At least maybe you enjoyed 30 or 40 of those videos. You know, if you enjoy all 200 of them, I take some pride in you enjoying at least maybe 5 or 10 of them. So yeah, thank you so much. Hope you guys had happy holidays. Hope you guys are resting and recovering. I'm resting and recovering now. I got some free time, so I sat down, made this video for you guys, and like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers.